For 13 years, the South African Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee Schools Challenge has done more than teach monetary policy. It has ignited careers, built futures, and changed lives.
I didn't think that I would one day be at the Reserve Bank working as an economist. So yeah, I think maybe only at the end when I won and I saw how big of the challenge is, then only I started realizing that this is really, really huge and it could change my life.
Every year, the SARB, in partnership with the Basic Education Department, fans out across the country, holding day-long workshops for grade 12 learners studying economics and pure maths and their teachers. The workshops aren't just about how monetary policy works and why it matters for the economy. They are also about writing with clarity and speaking with confidence.
All of these young people, when they become leaders of tomorrow, then it will be important for them to learn at a young age how to deal with things like the media or with how to present, how to argue a particular point and how to answer questions. And the workshops that we run is aimed primarily to do that.
This year, more than 1,000 learners from public and private schools took part in the workshops. 216 teams submitted their MPC statements, and then 10 made the final cut. In the final round, teams defend their MPC decision before the judges. They also get tested on their knowledge.
In this competition, you need to be realistic on your analysis. So that is the most challenge that I faced, because I had to learn even myself.
Firstly, the primary function of the Monetary Policy Committee of the South African Reserve Bank is to ensure price and financial stability in the country.
I couldn't stop screaming. I was very happy. I was like, yeah, I'm going to Pretoria. I was so happy. I was so excited. And I'm pretty sure my team was very happy as well.
As we navigate an increasingly complex global economic environment, it is vital for the South African Reserve Bank to make evidence-based, well-informed decisions.
So the challenges that I faced as an educator was personally to get enough time with my learners to prepare them. But other than that, they were dedicated from the get-go, so we didn't face that many challenges that threw us off track.
So what do you mean when you say that the financial sector remains well capitalized?
We say it's well capitalized because there's enough money and money reserves to handle risks and to keep lending. And it's stable and strong, and it is possible for the financial sector to help other parts of the economy where it struggles.
I think the hardest part was in the waiting room, actually. Those 2 minutes before we went in, it was quite stressful.
With the rand being closely related to gold, a decline may weaken the rand, making imports more expensive, potentially contributing to an increased inflation rate.
The hardest part about the challenge was most likely bringing all the indicators together, focusing on what are we going to talk about, what different economic problems we are going to center the essay about.
Top 10, wow! This was our dream and now we are here, we made it. It's an amazing opportunity. We are absolutely thrilled to be here.
In light of all these considerations, the Monetary Policy Committee has decided to maintain the repurchase rate at 7.5%. This decision was unanimously approved.
And I think we're just excited to take on the challenge and come to Pretoria and present in front of all these senior economists.
It's a wonderful opportunity for the matrics of 2026 to take on this challenge. It just brings economics to life. It brings the real world to life. Having a deep understanding of monetary policy, fiscal policy, which affects every single citizen of South Africa, is so helpful for them going through life in general.
The Bureau of Economic Research Business Confidence Index remained at a peak of 45 points, reflecting a positive sentiment on the newly elected coalition government and the absence of load shedding.
The hardest part of the challenge, as I would say, and for my team also, was answering questions.
We've been in this competition for about 4 years now, and throughout the years we've developed in terms of how to present a monetary policy committee statement.
So as judges, we ask learners a range of questions just to assess their understanding of economic relationships, particularly around monetary policy, the growth inflation dynamics.
It therefore remains the responsibility of the South African Reserve Bank to protect the value of the currency in the interest of a balanced and sustainable economic growth.
The hardest part about the MPC School Challenge was the presentation.
With my learners presenting right now as we speak, I'm a little bit anxious myself, but at the same time, wishing them well and hopefully that they will take it in a positive way.
Economic conditions such as price stability and economic growth are basic to a country's prosperity, but they are also sensitive to many factors that can change their direction.
The challenge that we face is that of time.
A moment that I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of my team for every moment that we spent here. Yes.
Inflation currently stands at 3.2%, well within our target range of 3 to 6%. The inflation outlook has visibly improved compared to the forecasting of the MPC. Headline inflation is projected at 3.6% for 2025 and 4.5% for 2026.
This has been a rewarding journey for me and the kids. It's, as I was saying, that it's not just only the learners, but for us as well, the educators who made it to the finalists. These are the programs that actually remind us why the education matters.
So when we found out that we were in the finalists, I wouldn't say we were necessarily surprised, but we were glad that we made it into the top 10.
In early 2025, the US imposed duties on goods from 57 countries, including 44% of China's exports. Although a truce was announced in May, uncertainty still remains.
So we do understand that your decision was arrived at already in February of this year, which is probably about 6 months now. And given changes that we have seen, both in the domestic economy and also in the global economy, the question is whether, if you were to make the decision today, knowing what you know today, would you stick to the decision that you made in February, or would you change your decision?
Based on current factors, there could be an argument to say we could keep it the same with the US imposing new 30% tariffs, but I wouldn't. I would still keep it the same by cutting it by 25 basis points. Around that time, our inflation was around 3% margin, and our current target is 4.5%. So in other words, you have a 1.5% inflation range to play with. And also, yet again, it would improve our global competitiveness with inflation rates to other countries such as the US, the UK, and the Eurozone.
I would say I felt proud of my team right now, just in the room and how everyone just worked together, and yeah, we just saw our hard work paid off.
It's where the cream of the crop is, and you want to be associated with all the other schools that's also represented here.
The purpose of the Monetary Policy Committee is to maintain price and financial stability by keeping inflation between 3 to 6%. This is done to protect the purchasing power and living standards of all South Africans while providing a conducive environment for investment and job creation.
Why do you, as the MPC in South Africa, care about the trends in global inflation? Why is it important for you to look at what's happening in inflation globally?
The MPC should care about global inflation trends. For example, if China's inflation increases, this results in our imports increasing, thus resulting in us paying more for our imports. This will lead to imported inflation. This then will result in, for example, fuel as one of our imported inflation. Fuel, when using the cost of production, it will increase the cost of production, thus resulting in producers wanting to maintain a profit margin, and they'll pass these costs on to consumers to maintain that profit margin through higher prices.
Of course, you have to make sure that you also watch the governor's speeches and also read the governor's reports, how they put everything together.
So the two people that kept us organized
myself and Nomatqwabe Gumete, my deputy governor. So she was always on time. She'd always do the questions. She'd make the calls at 3 a.m. for us to pray. She'd make sure we are at the meetings. Having to work as a team, especially when there's differences and there's conflict, and having to resolve that conflict, it takes a long time and it's quite difficult.
We are Grace Christian Private School. We are Nyantomo Secondary School.
We are Weerskogaarsfontein.
We are Isifiso Sethu Secondary School.
We are Maritzburg College.
We are Makelaus.
We are Midrand High School.
We are Battle Gymnasium.
We are Parklands High School.
We are Spine Road High School.